and welcome back for another deep dive. This time we're tackling a concept that that could revolutionize how you think about building wealth. You know, forget the usual. Save your pennies advice. We're going beyond that.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So our source for this deep dive is The Untold Truth About Money.
Okay.
And it unveils this fascinating equation.
Interesting.
Wealth equals value times scale times time. Have you ever thought about wealth as an equation before?
I mean, it's a powerful framework, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's interesting.
It's
His source argues that this equation holds the key to unlocking financial success no matter where you're starting from.
Okay, I'm intrigued, but
Yeah.
let's break it down.
Yeah.
What exactly does each component mean?
Okay.
Starting with value.
Right.
It can't just be about how much money you have, right?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
Value is about the worth you bring to others.
Okay.
So what problem are you solving? What need are you fulfilling?
You know, it could be a service, a product, a skill, anything that improves someone's life or makes things easier for them.
Okay, so it's about offering something people are actually willing to pay for.
Right, exactly.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
But how does scale fit into the picture?
Okay, so think of it this way.
Okay.
How many people can you reach with your value?
Mm-hmm.
Impacting one person is great, but imagine reaching hundreds, thousands, or even millions.
Yeah.
That's the power of scale.
Oh,
It's not just about creating something amazing. It's about getting it in front of as many eyeballs as possible.
got it.
Okay.
So you could have the most incredible product in the world,
Right.
but if no one knows about it, it's not going to generate much wealth.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've got value and scale. What about time?
Okay.
Where does that come in?
Time is the magical ingredient that allows your wealth to compound and grow exponentially.
Okay.
It's about consistently providing value and maintaining your scale over the long haul.
So like a long game, kind of. Yeah, think of it like planting a seed.
Okay.
You nurture it, you give it time to grow, and eventually it blossoms into something magnificent.
So it's not about get-rich-quick schemes.
Right.
It's about playing the long game. Consistency and patience are key.
Precisely.
Okay.
And this equation isn't just theoretical.
Right.
It plays out in countless real-world scenarios. The source highlights entrepreneurs, content creators, and freelancers as prime examples.
Oh, okay.
What do you think? Do any of those resonate with you?
Definitely. I'm curious to see how this equation applies to each of them.
Okay, let's do it.
Let's start with entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
How does this play out in their world?
Okay, so let's imagine a tech startup that develops game-changing software. That's their value. They create a solution that businesses desperately need. Now, if they can get that software in the hands of thousands of companies,
All right.
that's scale.
Okay.
And if they keep innovating and improving their product over years,
Right.
that's time. The combination of these three elements is what drives their success and builds substantial wealth.
So it's not just about building a great product. It's about making sure it reaches the right audience and continues to evolve over time.
Exactly.
What about content creators?
Yeah,
I feel like they're everywhere these days.
they are.
Right.
And they're a perfect example of how this equation works.
Okay.
Their value lies in producing engaging content that resonates with people, whether it's educational, entertaining, or inspiring.
Right.
They're offering something that viewers or readers find valuable.
So a YouTuber with millions of subscribers,
Right.
their videos are the value.
Exactly. They figure out what their audience craves and consistently deliver it.
Yeah.
Then there's scale.
Okay.
They grow their audience through strategic collaborations, social media savvy, and maybe even branching out onto different platforms.
It's like building a media empire from scratch.
Right.
So value is the content, scale is the audience reach, and time comes in as they build their brand and following over the long term.
You got it. That consistent effort combined with a large and engaged audience unlocks various monetization opportunities.
It's amazing how this equation can apply to such different fields.
Right.
But what about someone who's not building a tech startup or a massive online following? Say a freelancer with a specialized skill set.
Yeah,
Can they still benefit from this equation?
absolutely.
Okay.
Let's say you're a graphic designer.
Okay.
Your value is the quality and uniqueness of your design work. You can scale by building a strong online presence, networking, and maybe even specializing in a niche market to attract specific clients.
So instead of being a generalist, you become known as the go-to person for, say, designing book covers for independent authors.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a smart way to increase your value.
Right. You become more valuable because you're solving a specific problem for a specific group of people.
Right.
And time comes in as you build your portfolio, refine your skills, and cultivate long-term client relationships.
So even for individuals, the key is to constantly think about how to increase their value, expand their reach, and play the long game. But before we go any further, I'm curious about something.
Yeah.
Our source mentions that a lot of people have misconceptions about wealth creation.
Yeah.
For example, some believe that just saving money or investing wisely is enough. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, saving and investing are definitely important,
Right.
but they're often seen as the primary drivers of wealth creation, which isn't entirely accurate.
Okay.
Think of them as tools to manage and grow the wealth you've already generated, not the source of the wealth itself.
It's like having a fancy oven but no ingredients, right?
Exactly.
You need something to bake before you can even think about using the oven.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
The core of the equation lies in creating and scaling value.
Right.
That's where the real magic happens. Another common misconception is the belief that you need a lot of money to start building wealth.
Now, this is where it gets really interesting. I think a lot of people feel stuck because they think they don't have enough capital to get started.
Right.
Like they can't even get going.
Yeah. There are countless examples of individuals who started with very limited resources, but had a unique idea or skill that they leveraged effectively. Think about someone who starts a successful blog with just a laptop and an internet connection.
Right.
Their value is the content they create. They scale by building an audience through social media and SEO.
Right.
And they invest their time consistently writing and engaging with their readers.
So it's not about how much money you have. It's about how you use your skills, your time, and your creativity to bring something valuable to the world.
Precisely.
Amazing.
It's about identifying your strengths, honing your skills, and finding creative ways to scale your reach.
This is mind-blowing.
Yeah.
It really flips the script on traditional wealth-building advice.
Yeah.
But now I'm thinking, how can our listeners actually start applying this equation to their own lives?
Right.
What are some actionable steps they can take right now?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what we'll explore in the next part of our deep dive.
I can't wait. We'll be right back after a quick break.
All right. See you then.
Welcome back, everyone. Now that we've got our heads wrapped around this wealth equation,
Right.
I'm eager to dive into some real-world applications.
Okay.
Where do we even begin?
Well, remember the first part of the equation, value.
Right.
Identifying your unique value is the crucial first step.
Okay.
What are you good at? What problems can you solve? What skills or knowledge do you have that others might find valuable?
So it's about taking stock of your strengths,
Yeah.
those things you naturally excel at or have a passion for.
Exactly.
But how do you figure out if those skills are actually valuable in the marketplace?
That's where understanding your target audience comes in.
Okay.
Think about it. Who are you trying to reach? What are their pain points, their needs, their desires? If you can align your skills with a specific audience's needs, you've hit a gold mine.
So it's not just about what you enjoy doing.
Right.
It's about finding that sweet spot where your passions intersect with a market need.
Excellent.
But let's say you've identified your value.
Okay.
What's next?
Right.
How do you actually increase it?
Never stop learning and growing. The more you invest in yourself, the more valuable you become.
Oh, okay.
Take courses, attend workshops, read books, connect with mentors.
Right.
The possibilities are endless.
So it's about constantly leveling up your skills and knowledge. The more you know, the more you can offer and the more valuable you become.
Exactly.
Okay, let's move on to scale.
Right.
We touched on this earlier, but let's get more specific.
Okay.
What are some actionable strategies for reaching a wider audience?
You've got to leverage the power of the internet.
Okay.
Social media platforms are amazing tools for building an audience and showcasing your expertise. It's not just about posting randomly. It's about creating engaging content that provides value to your target audience.
Oh, okay.
Think how-to videos, informative posts, or even behind-the-scenes glimpses into your work.
So it's about treating your social media profiles as mini marketing hubs.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's not just about broadcasting your message. It's about engaging with your followers, building relationships, and creating a community around your brand.
Exactly. And don't underestimate the power of collaboration.
Okay.
Partnering with others in your field can expose you to a whole new audience. Think guest blogging joint ventures or even creating complementary products or services.
It's like teamwork for entrepreneurs and creators.
All right.
You can leverage each other's strengths and expand your reach exponentially.
Exactly.
I love that. What about online platforms like Etsy or Upwork?
Yeah, those are great.
Do those fit into the scale equation?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
These platforms are like virtual marketplaces that connect you with potential customers or clients worldwide.
Yeah.
They're especially useful for freelancers or anyone offering digital products or services.
Okay, we've covered value and scale.
Mm-hmm.
Now let's talk about time.
Okay.
What are some practical tips for making the most of this element?
Focus on sustainable, long-term projects.
Okay.
Avoid getting caught up in those short-term gigs that might bring in quick cash, but don't really contribute to your overall growth.
So it's about playing the long game, right?
Exactly.
Building a solid foundation for long-term success.
Exactly. And one of the most crucial aspects of time is consistency. Establish a regular rhythm of creating, producing, and delivering value.
It's like building a habit, right?
Yeah.
Whether it's writing a blog post every week, releasing a new video every month, or connecting with a certain number of clients each day.
Right.
It's about establishing a routine that you can stick with.
I couldn't have said it better myself.
Awesome.
It's not about burning yourself out. It's about pacing yourself and making steady progress over time.
This is all fantastic advice. But I know some of our listeners might be thinking, this all sounds great,
Right.
but what if I'm starting from scratch?
Okay.
What if I don't have a lot of money to invest?
That's a common concern and a valid one.
Right.
But remember, building wealth isn't just about money. It's about resourcefulness,
Yeah.
creativity, and a willingness to learn and grow.
So even if you don't have a ton of capital, you can still create something valuable and find ways to scale it.
Exactly.
What are some concrete examples of how someone with limited resources could get started?
One of the most powerful things you can do is invest your time in learning a valuable skill.
Okay.
There are so many free online resources, courses, and tutorials available these days. You can literally learn anything you set your mind to.
It's amazing how much knowledge is available at our fingertips.
I know, right?
You don't need to shell out thousands of dollars for a fancy degree to become an expert in something.
Absolutely. And don't underestimate the power of networking.
Okay.
Connect with people in your field. Attend industry events, even virtual ones. Join online communities.
Yeah.
The more connections you make, the more opportunities will come your way.
So even if you don't have a lot of experience, you can start building relationships and learning from others who are further along in their journey. That's inspiring, but I imagine it can be tough to stay motivated when you're first starting out.
Right.
Especially if you're not seeing immediate results.
Yeah.
Any tips on staying the course?
You've got to celebrate the small wins.
Okay.
Every step forward, no matter how small, is a victory. And don't be afraid to experiment and try new things.
Okay.
Building wealth is often a process of trial and error.
Right.
Not everything you try will work.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Right.
It's all part of the learning process.
So embrace the journey.
Exactly.
It's not always going to be easy, but it's about persistence, adaptability, and a willingness to keep learning and growing. But, you know, we've talked a lot about the practical side of things.
Right.
I'm curious, what about the mental game? Does mindset play a role in all of this?
Absolutely. Mindset is crucial.
Okay.
It's about believing in yourself, your abilities, and your potential to create something valuable and make a difference in the world.
So it's not just about the external strategies. It's about cultivating the right internal attitude as well.
Exactly. And, you know, this brings us to a really important point that's often overlooked.
Okay.
It's not just about scaling outwards, reaching more people, and growing your business. It's also about scaling inwards.
What do you mean by scaling inwards? I've never heard that term before.
It's about deepening your expertise, mastering your craft, and becoming the best possible version of yourself.
Okay.
It's about continuously refining your skills, expanding your knowledge, and pushing yourself beyond your comfort zone.
Wow. I love that concept.
Yeah.
So it's not just about getting bigger, it's about getting better. It's about investing in yourself and becoming a true master of your craft.
Exactly.
But how does that tie into the wealth equation?
Okay, so think about it. The more you know, the more valuable your skills become.
Okay.
The more you master your craft, the more sought after you become. And the more you push yourself to grow and evolve, the more opportunities open up for you.
Right.
Scaling inwards is a powerful way to increase your value and ultimately accelerate your wealth building journey.
This is all incredibly insightful.
Yeah.
I'm so glad we took the time to explore this concept of scaling inwards. It's a whole new dimension to the wealth equation that I hadn't considered before.
Right.
But, I'm realizing that we've covered so much ground today.
Yeah, we have.
We've talked about identifying your value, scaling your reach, the importance of consistency, and even this fascinating idea of scaling inwards. I'm not sure we have time to get to those misconceptions about wealth creation that we mentioned earlier.
You're right. We are running a little short on time.
Yeah.
But that's okay, because I think we've already addressed those misconceptions implicitly throughout our conversation today. We talked about how saving and investing are important tools,
Right.
but they're not the source of wealth creation itself. And we've emphasized that you don't need a lot of money to get started.
Right.
Just resourcefulness, creativity, and a willingness to learn and grow.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
So even though we didn't explicitly debunk those misconceptions, I think we've provided our listeners with enough information to challenge those beliefs on their own. And you know what? I think this is a perfect place to wrap up part 2 of our deep dive.
Sounds good.
We've covered so much valuable ground already, and I want to give our listeners some time to digest everything we've discussed so far.
Okay.
We'll be back for part 3 after a quick break.
Right.
We'll recap everything we've learned and leave you with some final thoughts to ponder.
Okay. Sounds good.
Stay tuned. Welcome back to our deep dive, into this fascinating world of wealth creation. We've been unpacking this powerful equation. Wealth equals value times scale times time.
It has been a journey.
And I'm ready for some final takeaways. We've talked about identifying your unique value, crafting a scaling strategy,
Right.
the importance of consistent effort over time. We even explored this really intriguing concept of scaling inwards.
It's a good one.
Becoming a master of your craft. But
Yeah.
if you had to boil it all down,
Okay.
what's the most important message you want our listeners to walk away with today?
I think the biggest thing is for them to realize that building wealth isn't some mysterious, unattainable goal reserved for the lucky few.
Right.
Like, this equation really demonstrates that it's a process, a journey that anyone can embark on, regardless of their background or current financial situation.
It's so liberating to think that you don't need a huge inheritance or a winning lottery ticket to achieve financial success.
Right.
It's about leveraging your own skills, creativity, and resourcefulness.
Exactly. And it's about shifting your mindset from scarcity to abundance. It's about believing in your ability to create value and make a positive impact on the world.
It's not just about accumulating money.
Right.
It's about contributing something meaningful, something that makes a difference in the lives of others.
Precisely. And that brings me to a final thought-provoking question I want to leave our listeners with today.
Okay.
Now that you understand this equation, what unique value can you bring to the world? And how will you scale it?
That is a powerful question.
Yeah.
I hope our listeners take some time to really reflect on that.
Me too.
It's about finding your own unique path to wealth creation, one that aligns with your passions, your skills, and your values.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Well, it's been an absolute pleasure diving deep into this topic with you.
Same here.
And to all our listeners out there, thank you so much for joining us on this incredible journey of exploration.
Yeah, thanks for listening.
We hope you've gained some valuable insights that will empower you to take control of your financial future and create a life of abundance and fulfillment. Keep learning, keep growing, and keep creating. Until next time.
See you later.